what cut the deepest was watching her get ready that evening. After slipping into some fancy lingerie and those thigh-high stockings, she took her time, really focused, doing her makeup and getting her hair just right. Then, out of nowhere, she pulled out a dress I'd never seen before, something sultry and sleek. When she added the high heels, the whole look was unfamiliar. None of it felt like her usual self. That's when it hit me, this wasn't for me. She was doing all this for her boss, Trevor Blackwood. She was putting on this whole act to look good for another man, someone outside our marriage, while I was out there working hard to give her a good life and a solid home. It didn't make any sense. I thought things between us were great, we had an amazing connection, especially in the bedroom. Amanda was always caring and open with me. She made me feel loved every single day, so I never had a reason to doubt her. After 25 years together, I thought I knew who she was, and I never believed cheating was something she'd even consider. But then I thought back to that night about 2 months ago, her firm's company dinner. That was when her boss, Trevor Blackwood, who runs the whole firm, gave her way more attention than I was comfortable with. And I'll never forget that smug grin he shot me after twirling her around the dance floor. Something about it didn't sit right. The next day, I brought it up to Amanda, and that uneasy feeling only got worse. The way she jumped to defend him and tried to make me feel like I was just being sensitive, that pretty much sealed my gut feeling. Suddenly, all those late nights at the office and skipped lunches didn't seem so innocent anymore. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Amanda works directly under Trevor, she's his personal assistant. And Trevor? He's the kind of guy who brags about everything, drives flashy cars, wears expensive watches, lives in a luxury home, and has a young, gorgeous wife named Lacey. Lacey's maybe 31, absolutely stunning, and the woman he traded his longtime wife for after 25 years of marriage. Trevor's the type who cracks jokes at other people's expense, and I remember once, during a group walk, he made fun of what I do for a living. See, I sell fasteners and screws to big retail chains. It's not a glamorous gig, but I make over $300,000 a year, enough to give Amanda everything she wanted and cover our daughter Emily's college tuition. Emily's in her second year now. We live in a nice neighborhood, have great friends, and enjoy a comfortable life. Sure, I'm not pulling in $1 million like Trevor, but we were doing just fine. At least, that's what I thought. That night, when Trevor decided to publicly make fun of my job in front of Amanda and everyone else, I was furious. Not just because he acted like a jerk, but because my wife laughed right along with him, and then backed him up when I told her I felt humiliated. He smirked and said something like, "So Dave, how's life selling nuts and bolts? Must be fun working at Home Depot." And Amanda laughed. That hit me hard. I walked off without saying a word. To be fair, she did come after me and ask what was wrong. When I told her, she brushed it off. "Oh, baby, don't take it so seriously," she said. "He's just playing around, he's a funny guy. Come back, it's all in good fun." She tried to make it seem like I was just being too sensitive. Against my instincts, I stayed for the rest of the dinner. Looking back now, I can't believe I missed the warning signs. I'm not stupid, and I wasn't going to keep quiet if something was off. I get it, Trevor is the kind of guy people are drawn to. He's tall, confident, loaded, and charming. And Amanda? She was always right there by his side at work, his go-to person, the one he relied on most. It didn't seem to matter that he already had a younger, beautiful wife. Guys like Trevor always want more. And if that meant going after someone else's wife, well, that wouldn't stop him either. So over the next few days, I started to take action, to find out whether I was just being paranoid, or if my gut was right. I ordered 7 audio recorders and 6 high-end video cameras. As soon as they arrived, I got to work setting everything up. I hid the first camera in the smoke detector on our bedroom ceiling. 2 more went in the bedroom to catch different angles. The rest I placed in the master bathroom and the living room. Every device streamed live, recorded up to 8K resolution, and connected wirelessly to a computer I set up in the attic. I controlled it all from my phone. The audio gadgets were clever too. One looked like a pen, which I set next to the kitchen phone. Another one I planted in her car. I slipped regular recorders into her 3 favorite purses and tucked one behind the headboard in our room. With all that in place, I figured I could capture most of her conversations and any strange behavior around the house. I had a sinking feeling about the week ahead. I had to leave town for business. Like always, Amanda was sweet and affectionate the night before I left. She knew how to make me feel loved, especially before a trip. Lots of kisses, soft words, and reminders of how much she cared. She whispered how much she loved me and said she'd miss me while I was away. With tears in her eyes and a warm smile, she told me, "I love you, honey. You're everything to me. I'll love you forever." That night felt special. I felt closer to her than I had in a long time. Part of me wanted to believe she'd never betray me. I almost took down the whole setup. But I left it as it was and hit the road for my 2-night trip, thinking I'd give her enough space in case something did happen. We said our goodbyes, kissed, and by 7 p.m., I was driving toward the hotel, 4 hours away. On the way, I kept thinking about the last 6 months, trying to spot anything else that might have hinted at trouble. Aside from that company dinner and Trevor's smug behavior, I couldn't come up with much. Eventually, I started to feel silly, like maybe I was just being paranoid. Once I got to the hotel, I checked in and stretched out on the king-size bed. I gave it a few minutes, checked my email, and then clicked the link to the attic server. I just wanted to see how the last 4 hours looked, not expecting anything major, but I needed to test that everything was working. I started watching the footage, speeding through it at triple speed until I saw Amanda appear in our bedroom. I slowed it back down, expecting to see her maybe relax or make a call. She looked beautiful, lying there in her underwear, chatting on the phone like everything was normal. What I didn't expect was who she called, Trevor Blackwood. Just an hour after I'd left, she was already on the phone with him. The camera picked up everything, even the audio. I sat there in disbelief, listening to only her side of the conversation. "Hey, honey. He just left, I'm all alone now." She sounded excited, almost giddy. "Yes, he'll be gone for 2 nights this time. When can you come over? Won't your wife wonder where you are?" "Oh my God, that's perfect. Can you stay the night? I really want to wake up next to you." She giggled, twirling her hair with her finger. "Of course, baby. I'm all yours. What time will you get here?" "Okay. I'll see you soon. I love you." I just sat there frozen. We just made love, passionate, deep, like always, and she said she loved me. She said it like she meant it. But not even an hour later, she was inviting another man into our home. Who was this woman? How could she say she loved me and do this? Was he really going to show up? I sat there, watching, waiting, and feeling sicker by the second. For the next hour, I watched my wife prepare for her lover. She stepped into the shower, washed herself slowly, then slipped into one of her nicest pieces of lingerie. She chose tall heels, did her makeup just right, and spent half an hour fixing her hair until it looked perfect. It was one of the most painful things I'd ever seen. She looked incredible, sexy, confident, radiant. But she wasn't doing it for me. That kind of effort, that side of her, she never showed that to me. That hit hard. I felt heat rise in my chest. Jealousy. Rage. Confusion. All of it boiled over. And just when I tried convincing myself maybe I was misunderstanding the situation, the doorbell rang. And there he was, Trevor. The camera caught him stepping into our home with no hesitation. He smiled like he owned the place, then leaned in and kissed my wife, deeply, right there in my hallway. I zoomed in on the moment, and I felt my stomach turn. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Then, Through the speaker, I heard him say, "Wow, baby, you look incredible in that dress. I can't wait to tear it off and love you all night long." Amanda just smiled back at him, glowing. She took his hand and led him straight into our bedroom, our bed. And I followed them with the camera, watching her strip him down. He stood there tall, smug, built like a fitness model, with a body that looked carved out of stone. I should have turned it off. I should have spared myself. But I didn't. I watched. I felt disgusted, angry, but also, in some twisted way, I couldn't look away. He was the man she'd chosen, confident, cocky, everything I wasn't. I threw up again. Still, I kept watching. The camera caught everything, every sound, every movement. It lasted nearly an hour. But it was their conversation afterward that crushed me the most. Lying there, wrapped in each other's arms, he said, "So, your husband's out for a couple nights? That means you're all mine." She giggled. "I'm so glad you can stay. I've wanted to wake up next to you for so long." Trevor smiled. "I'll be taking you all night while your hard-working hubby's off on the road." Amanda laughed softly. "Be nice, Trevor. He's a good man. I do love him." He turned to her. "Then why are you with me?" She sighed. "Because you're the sexiest man I know. And I love what we have. We're both married, so let's just enjoy the time we do have together." "I mean it," he said. "You give me more love and affection than any woman I've ever been with. It's not just sex for me, Amanda. It's the way you make me feel. And that crushed me." She was giving him the kind of love I thought was just for me. The laughter, the softness in her voice, the way she held him, it wasn't fake. It was real. It just wasn't mine anymore. Then came the final knife. He asked, "Does your husband satisfy you like I do?" She hesitated. "He's a wonderful lover. But no, not like you. You do things to me I can't even explain." I shut the computer off. I couldn't take any more. I sat there in the dark, alone, feeling hollow. The woman I loved, the one I built a life with, was gone. In her place was someone I didn't even recognize. I couldn't sleep that night. I tossed and turned, filled with fury and heartbreak. But somewhere in all that pain, I found clarity. I knew there'd be revenge. And it was going to hurt. When I came home, she was all smiles and kisses, wrapping herself around me like nothing ever happened. She played the part of the perfect wife, gentle, loving, warm. I acted right along with her. I smiled. I kissed her back. I said all the right things. Meanwhile, I pulled all the video and audio, saved backups to the cloud, and locked everything into an encrypted file. Over the next 3 weeks, I kept her close. No late-night office trips. No girls' nights. No room for any secret meetups. I even heard her asking about my next work trip. "Any travel coming up?" she asked one morning, sipping her coffee like it was any other day. "I'm not sure," she told someone on the phone in her car. "But I'll find out. It has to be soon, baby." So I gave them what they wanted. I planned a quick overnight trip, just one night. Enough time to see if he'd come back. My trap was set. That evening, while I was relaxing with a movie, Amanda turned to me and asked sweetly, "Honey, when's your next trip?" I forced a smile and kept my tone light. "Trying to get rid of me already? Got some secret boyfriend waiting in the wings?" She laughed. Not a flinch of guilt. "Don't be silly. I just like having you home. I hope you're not traveling so much anymore." "Oh, I still have to travel," I said, calm and casual. "In fact, I've got a quick trip next Tuesday. Just overnight." She nodded, pretending to be disappointed. "I hate when you leave. I miss you so much when you're gone." Then she leaned over and kissed me deep, slow, soft, full of love. But I didn't feel a thing. All I could think about was how she kissed him the same way. How she said the same sweet words. How she gave herself to another man while pretending she belonged to me. Still, I kept my cool. I kept playing the part. But I knew what was coming. Tuesday night would be the end. Our last night together, we made love. She was gentle, attentive, everything I used to treasure. But in my heart, I knew. After tonight, there'd be no more us. She gave me one last sweet kiss before I walked out that night. I couldn't help but wonder if she noticed the sadness in my eyes, the kind that comes from knowing something's about to end. I caught a flicker in her expression, like maybe she sensed something, but I couldn't tell what she was thinking. Instead of heading out of town like I said, I drove back to the office and parked. Working late wasn't anything new for me, so when I headed up to my desk, no one thought twice. Around 7:30, the home camera came alive, and sure enough, Trevor strolled right into my house and greeted Amanda with another one of those soft, smug kisses. Showtime. I used an app on my phone to turn off the video feed, just in case. Then I tucked the phone into my desk drawer. I didn't want GPS tracking giving away my location. I made my way down to the parking lot, popped the trunk, and pulled out a folding electric bike I had stashed there earlier. It was fast, quiet, and perfect for slipping back home unnoticed, hit about 35 miles per hour and could run 60 miles on a single charge. I put on a black hoodie, made sure no one was watching, and took off on a 15-mile ride back to my house. I made it in under 30 minutes. I wheeled the bike around to the back, just like I planned, and slid through the patio door I'd rigged to stay unlocked. Inside, I stayed perfectly still, just listening, making sure nothing had tipped them off. Once I was sure they were busy, I went to the closet and picked up the two items I'd prepared, a short-barreled shotgun and an aluminum bat. I leaned the shotgun against the hallway wall just outside the bedroom, took the bat in hand, and eased the door open to that dim, candlelit room. They were loud, so loud they didn't notice me. I crossed the room silently and without hesitation, swung the bat hard into the side of Trevor's head. The sound of metal hitting skull was heavy and flat, followed by the thud of his body collapsing. As he crumpled to the floor, I grabbed the shotgun and flipped on the light. Amanda looked stunned, frozen in place. She screamed, "Oh God, no. Please. This can't be happening. Why are you here? You're supposed to be gone." I stared right at her. "That's a better question. Why are you in my bed with another man?" She couldn't answer. Trevor, bleeding from a gash in his scalp, managed to prop himself up against the wall, dazed and moaning. I stood over him, shotgun in hand. "Man, what the hell, this hurts," he groaned. "Why'd you do this? Seriously? You're in my house, my bed, with my wife, and you're asking me that?" I snapped. He looked down the barrel of the shotgun and went pale. "What are you gonna do? Scared now, big guy? You should be. I know what you two have been doing, and tonight's your wake-up call. This is payback. I should end you right here. Dude, you kill me, you're going to prison for life." "Maybe," I said, voice cold. "Or maybe we all die tonight. How's that sound?" I was bluffing. I had no intention of killing anyone. But scaring them? That part was real. Amanda was crying now, curled up and trying to cover herself with a sheet. "Please," she begged, "don't do this. I love you, I really do. Just put the gun down. Let's talk." I grinned, but there was no kindness in it. I raised the shotgun slightly and said, "Shut up. This is your mess, Jess. Whatever happens tonight, you made it happen." They were terrified. Exactly how I wanted them. And while they panicked, I calmly reminded myself, the shotgun wasn't loaded to kill. I'd packed it with custom shells, 30% salt, 70% capsicum, the same chemical used in pepper spray. It would hurt like hell, but it wouldn't kill. My goal wasn't prison. It was pain, and memory. The kind of memory that sticks for life. When Trevor finally pulled himself together, he tried to rush me. I was ready. The second he moved, I fired. The blast was loud, but not louder than his scream. He hit the floor, choking, crying, blinded by the mix of salt and pepper, and completely unable to breathe. He wasn't going anywhere for a while. Once he'd stopped thrashing and was moaning on the floor, I kicked his leg to get his attention. Then I looked at Amanda. Listen up, both of you. I'm walking out of here in a few minutes. You're going to get this idiot to the hospital before he bleeds out. You're not calling 911. You'll drive him yourselves. You'll not mention my name or say a word about me knowing anything. Amanda sobbed. I kept going. If you tell anyone what really happened, I'll release everything, the videos, audio, photos. They'll go straight to Trevor's wife. His business partners. Your friends. Everyone. I built a website with over 2 hours of footage. You know the kind I'm talking about. I paused to let that sink in. Say what you want to the cops. I don't care. But my name stays out of it. You'll tell them I didn't know a thing. And Trevor. You won't fire her. She's gonna need that paycheck real soon. If you refuse the divorce terms or come after me, all of it goes public. At that point, I don't care who gets burned. Now, I said, stepping away, get him to a hospital. And remember what I said. I left the way I came in, resetting the door and locking it behind me. The bat and shotgun went into a sports bag slung over my back, and I rode off quietly into the night. On the way back, I tossed the shotgun and bat into different parts of the river, then peeled off the gloves I'd been wearing and ditched them too. Back at my office, no one knew I had ever left. Back at the office, I loaded the bike into the trunk, straightened up, and got back to my desk by 10 o'clock like nothing happened. I even said goodbye to a few folks burning the midnight oil. Far as anyone knew, I'd never left the building. My car stayed in the lot the whole time. If anything ever came up, it'd be their word against mine, and with no proof, it wouldn't stick. Turns out, Trevor had to go in for surgery. They shaved his head and stitched him up, 18 of them, after the concussion I gave him. He told the cops he was just heading to his assistant's house with some paperwork, then blacked out and woke up in the hospital. Said he didn't remember seeing anyone or getting hit. And he kept his mouth shut after that. He knew if he talked, I'd wreck his life and career. Amanda didn't say a word either. All she told the police was that she heard a gunshot, walked outside, and saw Trevor lying there. Said she didn't want to wait for an ambulance, so she rushed him to the ER herself. Neither of them had an answer for why he was naked. But they stuck to their stories. Still, Trevor's wife didn't buy a bit of it, and that turned into a real mess for him. Later that day, I removed all the surveillance equipment, uploaded everything to an encrypted cloud account, and trashed the gear. Anything left tying me to what I knew was locked away and out of reach. Around 7 that evening, Amanda came home and found me sitting in the living room, sipping from a bottle of my good whiskey. She looked like a ghost. Hollow eyes. Sad. I'd never seen her like that. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Then she tried to explain through her tears. Dave, she said, I know what you saw looked awful, but I wasn't in love with him. I know what it sounded like, and I get that it hurt. But those words I said, those were meant for you. It was all for you, baby. You know me, after sex, I just need that connection. And when you were gone, Trevor, well, he was just there. And yes, it got physical, but it didn't mean anything. Just sex. Please believe me. I sat there, dumbfounded. Couldn't believe the excuse coming out of her mouth. Amanda, I said, I heard what you said to him, and I don't care how you spin it, it sounded like you meant every word. Maybe you want to pretend those things were for me, but I don't buy it. It's over. You threw away 25 good years for your boss. Now we both get to live with your decision. I took another sip and said, sarcastically, thanks for the heartbreak. I'll always treasure it. She wiped her face and asked through sobs, what now? Well, you're done here. I'll never understand how you did this to me, and I don't want to. I'll carry this pain with me forever, but you don't get to be part of my life anymore. I won't tell Emily or your parents what really happened. You'll have to come up with your own excuse for the divorce, but don't make me out to be the bad guy. If you do, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of woman you are. I'm selling the house. You'll need to find another place to stay. I looked her straight in the eye. You ruined this. You move out. That's not a request, it's how it's going to be. Tell me where to send the divorce papers. Sign them. Don't fight it, or things will get ugly for both you and your boyfriend. She broke down again, trying to talk through the tears. He's not my boyfriend. I don't love him. Can't we fix this somehow? I know I messed up, but I can't live without you. I'll do anything, please. Amanda, I said, if it had just been about sex, maybe, we could have tried therapy or a separation. But you gave your love, our love, to someone else. The way you spoke to him, like I never existed, like he was the only one that mattered, that's what killed us. That's what I can't forgive. I don't want to see you or hear from you ever again. She spent hours crying and begging me to forgive her, but the next morning, she packed a few things and went to stay with her folks while the house went up for sale. A few days later, the cops came around with more questions, trying to get me to slip up. I hired a lawyer who told them flat out, no more talking unless you've got a warrant or evidence. Since they had neither, and I had an alibi, they eventually dropped it. It went down on paper as a random break-in and assault. Amanda and her family kept calling. Kept begging. Said she loved me. Said she was sorry. Asked if we could do counseling. I didn't answer. Changed my number. Stopped opening the door. Yeah, it hurt. More than I'll ever be able to say. But no matter how much it hurt to lose her, remembering what she did, what she said, was a pain I couldn't live with. That's what really ended things. Now, Amanda's a 43-year-old single mom, scraping by on her paycheck, living in a cramped one-bedroom. The nice life she once had. Gone. Her daughter and her parents figured out enough of the truth to blame her for it all. And they were right. She's alone now. Trevor didn't stick by her either. He was too busy trying to patch up his own marriage and made sure Amanda paid the price at work. He had her bumped to some dull admin role, same pay, but no status. The whispers around the office started too. Folks knew she used to be Trevor's girl, and they treated her like baggage. Now she's stuck in a dead-end job, no future, no friends, no family that respects her. Just the fallout of her own choices. And depression? Yeah, that hit hard too. She lost everything. And I walked away with my pride. She cried herself to sleep every night, missing me with everything she had. Her heart ached constantly, and she couldn't stop replaying everything she'd done and everything she'd lost. Emily tried to help her, but it was like trying to hold back a flood. Amanda started to waste away. She barely ate and drank too much in the evenings. She gave up on herself, saying there was no point in caring anymore since I was gone. Emily called me, hoping for advice. I told her I was sorry for what she was going through, but I just couldn't get past the betrayal. I never spoke to Amanda again. Lacey, though, wasn't as quiet about things. She made Trevor's life miserable. Moved him into one of the guest rooms and made sure he paid the price for cheating. Then she started dating younger guys and kept Trevor around just to pay the bills. She showed up with him to corporate events so he'd save face, but they lived completely separate lives. Trevor's days of intimacy were over. He didn't have love anymore, and never would again. Every day, he'd have to live with the memory of how his whole life came crashing down because he chased someone else's wife. He hated me for it, too. I knew he wanted payback. A few months went by, and then one night I was out having drinks with some buddies when I got jumped outside the bar. They beat me pretty bad until my friends ran out and scared them off. I spent 3 days in the hospital, broken ribs, 25 stitches. I knew it was Trevor's doing. Didn't even surprise me. 7 weeks later, once I was feeling better, I called Trevor's office. "Mr. Blackwood, please," I said to his assistant. "He's in a meeting," she told me. "Can I take a message?" "Yeah," I said. "Tell him to meet me Friday at 2 p.m., French Deli across the street. Alone. Just give him the message, he'll know what it means." I was already seated when he walked in. He spotted me and walked over. I looked him square in the eye. "Sit down." "What do you want?" he snapped. "I just wanted to thank you," I said calmly. "Your guys did a good job on me, but unfortunately for you, they didn't finish the job. Now I have no choice but to respond." I slid a folded piece of paper across the table. "That's a link to a website. It was built just for you. Runs through Syria, with 4 backup servers in different countries. It can't be traced, can't be taken down. You're screwed." I leaned in a little. "Amanda's face is blurred out, I don't want her suffering any more than she already has. But you? After you see that site, think about how your law firm will feel, how your wife and kids and friends will react after watching a 2-hour video of you. I'm ready to post it on the biggest adult sites out there, with your full name, job title, home address, and phone number." His face turned red with rage. "You've already destroyed me. I'll never be the same man again. Just stop this or I swear we'll vanish. That's why I asked to meet. To end this. You want something? 2 things, and they're non-negotiable. First, you stop any and all retaliation against me or anyone I care about, including Amanda. Second, you'll wire $1 million to the account listed on that paper by Friday at 10 p.m. His eyes widened. "I know what you're worth, and what I could get if I took you to court. Consider this a gift. A parting gift. If you don't pay, that site goes public Saturday morning. That's not a threat, that's a guarantee." He was silent for a long moment. "And if I pay, how do I know you won't ruin me anyway?" "Because I'm a man of my word. I only want this to be over." I stood up. "You destroyed my marriage. You ruined my life. I hope that money haunts you. But if you do this, it ends here." The money came through. We sold the house and split the assets. Amanda had enough to live okay if she kept working or found someone new. Trevor kept her on staff as part of our deal, but they were never close again. Amanda never remarried. Rarely even dated. She lived with the guilt and pain of what she'd done. She had thrown away a life she loved, and ended up all alone. She died before she turned 50, broken, sad, and alone. Only Emily was there to scatter her ashes. As for me, I kept working for a few more years, then moved to a quiet coastal town. Eventually, I married a good woman, kind, warm, and real. We had a nice life together. She cared about me deeply, and I cared about her, but there was always a place in my heart that Amanda once filled. That part never came back. I never spoke to Amanda again. Only heard about her through Emily, who I loved dearly. We stayed close, talked every day. But she rarely mentioned her mother. She knew it still hurt. When Amanda passed, I felt sadness, sure. But also a strange kind of peace. Like that last piece of sorrow finally let go.